Hey y'all, Emery here, and I've got a video for you today about my Timex Expedition Scout Chronograph watch reviews. My first watch review, and I'm excited to tell you about that. We'll do that in just a minute. Before we do, I'm doing a little EDC check. What am I carrying today? Well, as I have been for the last, few weeks, ever since I've gotten it, Benchmade bug out. Yeah, you're probably getting tired of hearing me talk about this, but I love this knife. It is so lightweight, just such a great design on the blade there, so strong with the axis lock, just smooth as it can be. I just love this knife, and I'm going to be carrying it for quite a while. So carrying that today, and then I always have a multi-tool on me. 9 times out of 10, it is my Leatherman Juice CS4. In my opinion, it is the ultimate pocket multi-tool. I'll do a whole review about this later on, but love this. Oftentimes, though, I'm carrying it in a belt pouch right here, a little pouch here. But today I'm wearing jeans, so I've got that down in my pocket. And in the 5th pocket, I'm carrying my Victorinox Cadet. And I'm sure you all know about these. I'll talk about this sometime too, but excellent little knife as well. And then for my flashlight, I'm still carrying the Lumen Top Tool AA 2.0. Great little light, really enjoying that. Today though, I've got something extra that I don't normally carry, and it's kind of an old school tool. I was at the church today working on the sound system. Seems like we're always working on the sound system. If you do anything with sound, you know how that is, but thought that there was a possibility I might need to get down into some deep parts of electronics or whatever, and so I threw this multi-tool on my belt. When I say old school, I mean old school. The original Leatherman Super Tool. In my opinion, still one of the best multi-tools ever made. It is a very simple design, but it just works. An almost perfect tool set. Yeah, none of the tools are accessible from the outside. You have to open it up, but as you see, I've used it enough that I can kind of balisong it open to get the tools out. I'll talk about that later, but I had this with me today in case I needed some really kind of longer needle nose pliers. Didn't end up needing that, but I'll talk about that another time. So, oh, by the way, I want to show you this too. I went to a local thrift store and got a couple of things. Got a couple of books on Labrador Retrievers. As you know, I have a dog, Ranger the Danger Dog, and so I picked up a couple of books on labs. Today is actually his birthday. He's 2 years old today, so we're going to have a little party for him later, give him some treats and stuff. But while I was in there, I came across this, a 2-pack of Victorinox Rally knives. This is like the classic, but instead of the scissors, it's got the small Phillips head screwdriver, which it says on the back here is actually magnetized, as well as the wire stripper and the bottle opener. So I thought, man, that's cool. I can't pass that up. $8 right there. That's what I paid for it. So that was a great little find there. Okay, this is a watch review, right? So I want to talk about this watch. This is a watch that my daughter, Dixie, got me for Christmas, and I love it. I've been wearing it ever since. It is the Timex Expedition Scout Chronograph. That's a mouthful, but it does a lot. There's a lot of features in here. And let me say, this being my first watch review, I am a watch guy. By that, I mean I enjoy watches, always have ever since I was a kid. I had a Timex Ironman when I was a kid, the digital watches, and I loved that thing. I'd stay up late at night just to watch it flip over to midnight, you know, to the next day, or to all zeros if I had it on 24-hour. Just have always loved knives, multi-tools, flashlights, and watches. So I've been an EDC guy all my life. So I love watches, but I'm not a watch guy in that I spend a lot of money on watches. For 2 reasons. Number one, I don't have a lot of money to spend on watches. But secondly, I just couldn't bring myself to, you know, $10,000 for a base level Rolex or something. I couldn't do that. That being said, there are outstanding watches out there for great prices. My ADC channel, you could probably categorize it as a value channel. I'm looking for stuff that works at a great price, as well as they bring you joy. You enjoy it. So if you're into high-end watches, I can recommend what's the name of the guy? He goes by TGV, and I'll probably think of his name here in a little bit. You're probably all screaming it at me, but he's a great guy that talks about, the Urban Gentry. The Urban Gentry. That's a great channel, and he talks all about watches. Thinking of watches and knives. I'm getting wives out of that. But anyway, watches, and really good. So if you like, and of course there's lots of other ones as well, but if you like high-end watches, I highly recommend you go talk to him. But he's not really a watch snob. You know, he's got very expensive watches, but then he'll throw on a simple Casio and run around with it as well. So I like that. But anyway, back to this watch. The details on it, it is a 42 millimeter case, 22 millimeter lugs. It is a chronograph, and that's something that I didn't think I would like, because as I started researching them, I found out that with a chronograph, your second hand here is actually the seconds on the chronograph, and so it doesn't move unless you're actually using the chronograph, in which case it begins moving. So when you push this pusher up here, the seconds begin to tick away. Bring it over here. And then, of course, when you stop it, it's going to stop. But if you'll notice also, this subdial right here is the 120th of a second. So when I hit that, it moves as well. So it tells me how many seconds have gone by since I started it. And that tells me how many 120ths of a second have gone by since the last second. All right. And then over here is the minutes subdial, and that would click 1 minute for every time the second hand goes around, up to 30 minutes. So you got up to 30 minutes of timing on there. And then your seconds hand, your actual seconds hand, is this little subdial down here. And then, by the way, you push this one, and it resets everything. So I thought that would drive me crazy. Every time I look at my watch, the second hand's not moving, and I'm going to think the battery's dead or something. So I kind of held off getting it, but I decided to try it, and I am glad I did. I love this watch, and that has not bothered me at all. I don't know if you're that crazy about it as I am, that you think that would bother you, but it did not bother me at all. Also, you have a date window right there. It's at the 4 o'clock position, and I will say it's a little hard to read for me, but I'm finding a lot of things are harder to read these days, so that may not be a problem for you. You just have, of course, Arabic numerals around here, only 12-hour. You don't have the 24-hour numbers up there. You actually have little slots cut in at every hour indice up there, and then you have hash marks in between. So that looks really cool. And then something that is unique about this is that it is 100 meters water resistant, says right down there. The reason that's unique is because you don't find that on Timex very often. I love Timex. Timex is an old company. I believe they were originally the Waterbury company. They have been in business a long time, and they have always made great value watches. Can you get a lemon? Absolutely. Are you more likely to get a lemon from a Timex than a Seiko? Yeah, probably. But you're probably going to get a great watch with Timex. And they don't break the bank. Even their quote-unquote luxury watches. You know, they have the Waterbury collection. And I'm actually looking at the Marlin, which is a reproduction of a 1960s model. They have a couple of them. I'm considering one of those. Really nice. But you don't get very many of them in 100 meters water resistance, and that's what I like. To me, that's kind of my standard. 100 meters, I'm not going to worry about it. If I go swimming in it, it's going to be fine. I don't dive, so I don't worry about it being more than that. 50 meters is okay for everyday use. You shouldn't go swimming with it, but it's okay. Anything below that, you're getting to 30 meters. Did I say millimeters? Anyway, 100 meters water resistant, 50 meters, and 30 meters. I don't know what I said. But anyway, So for some reason, Timex doesn't make a lot of 100-meter water-resistant watches, and this one is, and so I like that. The other thing that I liked about it is that it has a green face. Isn't that cool? You don't see that very often. Kind of a different... I'm not into bright colors in any of my EDC, my clothes, or anything. I kind of like drab colors. Green is not really bright, but it is a little bit different. But man, when I saw that, I just fell in love with it. Now, this is not the strap that comes on it. This is the strap that comes on it. It's leather, and it's almost kind of a suede texture to it. It's light colored. It says genuine leather on there. I have no doubt that it is, but it is very, very light and thin, and I just don't know how long it would last on there. Plus, I really didn't like the contrast between the light color and the black case and the green. I didn't like that. So I took this band. This is a Barton band. I highly recommend Barton bands. They're very good quality, but they also have this feature called quick release. There's a little button right there. You just put your fingernail on it, pull that, and it just pops right off. It's like a little spring-loaded bolt in there, so they're very easy to swap in and out. Of course, genuine leather. Put that on there, and I think that just looks awesome. That looks really good. And so I've worn it on there ever since I've gotten it. This case, by the way, is brass. A lot of times on a Timex, maybe on Amazon or something, it'll say metal case, and you assume it's stainless steel or something. If it doesn't say stainless steel, it's probably not. It's probably brass, and it's colored. But that's okay. It does fine. Works great. But that is brass. Now, of course, this is quartz. It is not an automatic. And I'm sure most people are familiar with what that means. But it's kind of interesting. You know, automatics are considered to be nicer, more high-end and everything, but they don't keep as good a time as quartz does. Quartz is considered to be cheap, but they keep excellent, excellent time. Of course, with a quartz, you got to change the battery out. But, you know, I regularly, you know, get 5 years or more on a quartz watch on the battery. So that's not a big deal. So I love having that precision that a quartz watch gives you. So I want to give you a couple of other options that go along with that. First, I'm going to show you another Timex. This is another Timex Expedition. I really like the Expedition line. This one is it's a little bit smaller than that. It's kind of a cream-colored face on there. And this is one that I have worn for a long time. This leather band is very well worn in, but it's doing a great job. I think it's better quality than the one that came on the other one. But that's a different option there. Of course, you have the stainless color. This is probably brass as well. I don't know if it says the stainless steel back, of course. But this is also water resistant to 100 meters. And so, again, that's a little rare, but that's one option. And then I want to give you an option on kind of the other end. And this is my baby. I love this. This is a Seiko 5 Sports SNZG 15J1. The SNZG is, if I remember right, it's been a while since I've looked up some things about this, but that has to do with the fact that it has the black face on there. The J means that it's made in Japan. So anyway, I think the SNZG is the model of the Seiko 5. And then the 15 has to do with the black face. But this is an automatic. It does have the display back there. I don't know if you can see that or not, or you can see the workings in there. And this is considered an actual field watch. I love this watch. Of course, that's not the band that came on this either. It came with a kind of a green NATO, or not a NATO strap, but a nylon type strap. And I actually normally have this band on here, and it looks great on there. But I swapped it out for this one. And I went online, found a pack of NATO straps of all different colors, and put this on here. So red, white, blue, I think that looks really cool. This is kind of my collection of watch bands and straps and things. So I swap them out from time to time. You know, watches are a man's jewelry. I don't wear jewelry other than my wedding ring. Sometimes I wear a ring on this hand, my college ring. It doesn't fit real good right now. I got to lose some weight. But I'm looking to get another ring to wear on there. But other than that, I don't really wear jewelry. But a watch can kind of be a man's jewelry. And one thing we can do is swap out the bands on it and wear different kinds of watches. Later on, I'll talk about other watches that I have and own. For instance, my Invicta there that I love. I know some people hate Invicta. Some people love Invicta. I've got lots of other Timex as well as Citizen. This is a Citizen ProMaster and different ones, Victorinox, stuff like that. So I'll talk more about those later on. But I enjoy swapping out watches from time to time. And the Chronograph, of course, you know, it has the added feature that you can time things with it, which I've done a little bit. One thing that would be interesting is you could use this when you're hiking. I normally hike at about 3 miles per hour. That's my normal hiking speed. And so if you're on a trail that's not very well marked with mile markers, you can start and set your watch. And if you're, you know, walking about what you normally do, about every 20 minutes, you know, you've gone about another mile. So that's one practical application for the chronograph. Of course, cooking, there's always reasons to use it for that. So there's things you can find to use it other than just playing with it and enjoying it. Oh, by the way, of course, also it has Indiglo. I don't know if you can see that or not, but yeah, I love Indiglo. Indiglo is one of the best. I can see it kind of light up a little bit. Best inventions in a backlight. And this one has the night mode where you hold it down for 3 seconds and it stays on when you push it. And then you can turn that back off. So really enjoy that. But anyway, that's it for this watch review. I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know in the comments if you are into value watches, or I love to read about all of them. Tell me about your Breitlings and your Patek Philippe's and all those. I love to read about those. I'll never own one. It's kind of like a Chris Reeves Sabenza. That's my Grail knife. I love to read about them. I'll never own one, but, you know, still like to look at them anyway. But tell me what you think about it, and have more videos to come. Please subscribe if you haven't already. Tell your friends about the channel. We'll be talking about knives and multi-tools and lights and watches and pins and guns and lots of other stuff. We'll talk about, I'll get into the things you're not supposed to talk about, politics and religion. We'll talk about all that kind of stuff from time to time and things going on in the world. But I hope you're enjoying your day. I hope you found some value and some joy from this. And we'll talk to you soon. God bless, and War Eagle.